Y'all are defending this white man Ludwig because all we are saying is that on a musicological basis, if in so much as blues is a prominent element of sinners, the omission of queer people was a glaring omission, a historical inaccuracy. If this is a film about the blues where the blues plays a heavy role, and musicologically, it just doesn't make sense to not have queer people there.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the juke joint, as a lot of people have mentioned, and a lot of great scholars like Farrah Griffin and other people who study the blues, they'll tell you the juke joint was a place where you would go meet your pieces. You would go and be doing all type of gay shit that you couldn't really do out in the open during the 1920s and the 1930s. That's where you would do it. Y'all think that gay people just came about recently?
So
Queer
ridiculous.
people, trans people just came about now, right? The reason why you think that's because a white person told you. And a lot of the things that y'all believe is because they told you.
And there's a belief, which is consistent with white people telling you, because a lot of people said this too, is that Black queer narratives are prominent right now.
How?
Where?
So we
Where?
could go support it.
Yeah, where?
So we could go support it.
There's more Black queer movies than there are Black cis het movies. What's happening? What's happening? But this is what white supremacist Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, is rallying against. This is why we see anti-trans legislation across the country, is because they believe that with drag queens reading to children at libraries, with shows like Pose, or even Ballroom being even more mainstream discourse, I would say RuPaul's Drag Race become way more popular in recent years. All of that stuff made people worrisome about how they can control people. Because at the end of the day, they don't care how you identify. They just want you beholden to the state. And if you're only going to be beholden to the state, you think that you're just supposed to give to a man, make food for a man as a woman, be a fucking incubator to babies. And if you're a man, you're supposed to go off to war or support war. And you're also supposed to work and contribute to the capitalist, militaristic economy. That's all you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to ask no questions. You're not supposed to critique it. You're just supposed to fall in line. And when you have kids, you need to convince them that they do the same thing.
Over and over
and over, like a fucking mill.
Yeah.
Right? And if you question it, then what? Then it's a problem. Then you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to read. What's his name? J.D. Vance say? The professors are the problem. You know why they're attacking the professors? It's because professors actually read.
Yeah.
They actually provide critical analysis of the world.
They teach you how to...
Typically. Not all of them.
Yeah, well.
Okay?
Big asterisk. Big asterisk.
They teach you how to actually be critical of the world around you.
Yes.
They don't want that. So... with queer people saying, hey, let's have some critical discourse about an excellent film, about a film that had us even feel seen. Ebony feels differently. About a film that had us even feel seen. We are receiving the people replicating the talking points of Empire. And that is dystopian, to say the least. People who literally have no power with Empire are talking to us in the same ways that these white supremacists are speaking. Hi.
Welcome to another episode of
Hood Rap
to
Head Rap.
Straight up in the place to be. I want to just say this really quickly, since I know a lot of podcasts sort of operate in this sphere of fantasy or almost like entertainment. And so what I want to say for anybody that's confused, anybody that's new here, and since I don't see a lot of this happening, this podcast on Hood Rat to Head Rat, we condemn the illegitimate apartheid state of Israel. We condemn the United States fascist government regime, genocidal regime. We condemn Marty Supreme, and we condemn one battle after another. It's a lot of shit that we condemn, since condemnation is like the new framework for
everything.
The new sort
everything.
of the ideological, what they call an ideological purity test. Since condemnation is now new virtue signaling. It's condemnation. We just want to start off saying that we condemn the United States' continued neo-colonial, fascist, militaristic, and belligerent invasion of Iran and of Lebanon via its proxy, Israel. We condemn it. We condemn it. We condemn genocide and violence against all oppressed
and of
peoples.
Cuba.
And of Cuba. They're long-standing target of one of the last socialist governments or socialist regimes in the Western Hemisphere, which has been a long target of the United States. I think what's important to preface for people, especially people viewing this and listening to this, as we all consume and are inundated with a lot of different content and a lot of different media online on a near constant basis. I think sometimes people start to forget the world under which we are making this media. And I think sometimes people separate the media itself from the context. So it's very important for us to let people know, when we say we live in a white supremacist racial capitalist patriarchy, that is a matter of life and death. Us as black people who live in the United States, our position is very, very precarious. And all the acts of domestic terrorism and all the extrapolation of labor of black people, especially black queer and trans people and black disabled people and black poor people, fund all of the United States' adventurous, fascist, and neo-colonial militaristic foreign policy initiatives and agendas, right? Which is to protect the interests of white people at home.
Yep.
Right. And I think a lot of people got a lot of podcast equipment and mics in front of their face, and they are acting as if we are living in some semblance or sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
And it is not.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel it incumbent upon us to, even if other motherfuckers and on their podcast, they ain't saying it, since condemnation is a framework that we now use liberally to signal ethics and values and virtues. But people don't think that pertains to the United States.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers say condemn, they only talking about Hamas.
100%.
And they're only talking about people who they believe is Hamas. And they really only talking about people who are Arab. Right? So, or as Dr. Joy James talk about, otherwise disciplined body. People who are the targets of the state's ire and their violence. Right? So if you are not making a connection between the continued genocide, removal, and displacement of indigenous people and the descendants of chattel slavery in the United States and all across the Americas, including Cuba, if you are not connecting that to United States foreign policy and global terrorism, you are missing the plot. It has gone completely over your head, and you need to go ahead and go pick up one of these books. You need to go ahead, pick you up one of these. You go to your local library or something. And
be mindful of the podcast that you listen
mindful.
to. You can listen to really good podcasts that are actually giving information that is valuable,
and it's more accessible.
But it's important to consider. Like, for example, I almost fell into a trap the other day. Is that there was a presumable white woman who had a TikTok, and it was short. It was I'm paraphrasing, but if you are not interested in having children, but you are judging folks who do have children, you're also a part of the problem. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. This person is a trad wife, Mormon, literally pushing right-wing propaganda. So I say that to share that be mindful of the podcast that you're listening to. Because a lot of these New York Times backed, Washington Post, the things that you think are the news, now this, massive merger has taken over all of these networks, but also on social media, be mindful of who you're following and what their politic is. For so long on the internet, people did not care what other people's politic was. They just wanted to buy the stuff that they were promoting. They just wanted to support their family blog. But then you come to find out that these folks are major Trump racist, anti-abortion, anti-trans losers, right? Like, it's important to do your due diligence. Yes. Especially right now. The media literacy must increase. I just wanted to add
that. No, that's a great point, Erica. And so I just say that to say, sometimes I'm like, where am I living? What universe am I in?
Yeah.
And then I see motherfuckers on all these white cis man podcasts and Jack Harlow on Ebro podcasts, all these motherfuckers. I'm not going ahead, but I'm just seeing all these people.
Yeah.
And they talking and the Timothy Chalamet and talking about some opera and it's like all of these people are given platforms and they're talking a lot as if the United States has not essentially endeavored itself to have multiple and continued over decades, endeavored itself to have multiple wars on people all around the world. And this latest foray into Iran, in Lebanon, and Cuba, and Venezuela is just one instance of it. But like everything is Oscar seasons, but nobody is like, there's a war happening on the Iranian people right now.
Yeah. And nobody, except for one person, to my understanding, said something about what was happening at all. Right? Anybody could have said something about ICE. They could have said something even about anti-trans legislation. And there was nothing. Like I can't remember his name. I can't remember the actor that said no war, free Palestine.
And I'm not even talking about the saying of the thing. I'm just like, it's still happening. Nobody's canceling it. So there's a way to me that living in empire and living in...
Don't get into
I'm
the
not
podcast,
getting into
babe.
that. I'm just saying that there is something in the water.
Okay.
I put it to you like that. And I just wanted to let you know, we ain't drank the water. Yes. And we ain't drank the Kool-Aid on this podcast. What I just said is not an endorsement for y'all to listen to us or follow us or none of that shit. Yeah. Have your own mind.
Yes.
Have your own mind.
Yes.
Buttressed by knowledge that you have culled from credible sources. Welcome to Head Rat to Head Rat. We're back. Didn't see y'all for Black History Month. We were living Black present.
Here.
We were living Black present, Black bills.
I think it's so important to what you said. Is that we have been very busy, so we haven't been able to come in and record, but also we are also living in the world of what is happening right now, right? We are directly impacted on a regular basis, considering our multiple identities that intersect with oppression. So it's challenging for us to come up in here and talk about what's happening in the world when we're being impacted by what's happening in the world.
Yes.
And I don't think that there's enough grace given for that. I think we are just supposed to be machines and people expect us to be machines. And I was like, maybe we need to record at home, and how could we set up at home? And all of these things are very challenging to do, right?
And we have a child.
And we have a whole 3-year-old. I don't think we had a 3-year-old the last time we recorded.
We did not. And our 3-year-old birthday was born during Black History Month.
Yes.
Black Future.
Black Futures
Black
Month.
Nation.
Yeah.
Black Nation.
Our little Black Power baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
It's thriving.
Right. So
Now, parents thriving? I don't know.
I think you made a good point, Erica, and we did go with the flow, but you made a good point about the lack of grace given for not operating like AI, like an machinist, right, acting in a robotic way or super sterile and very brand forward, and your brand needs to constantly create and produce and trying to be less of the means of production that we are and that we have to be and that we are inherently as Black people in this country. But a lot of people fake the funk and perpetrate in order to keep up an image that they are super and hyper productive, and they will burn themselves out just to keep up the facade or the veneer that they are doing more or booked and busy or whatever the case may be. And that's demanded of them largely by the public.
It is. It's a very good point. It makes me think of the Hanifa situation. Hanifa is a Black designer that I would say high-end designer that creates really amazing pieces, mostly femme clothes, if you will, very size inclusive as well. And during Black Friday, her Black Friday sale, she had new pieces that were discounted, right? So obviously people are going to buy them. She also was pregnant and then on maternity leave within that time. There was a note on the website that said when stuff would be sent out was like late February or late January. And some people received more messages than others. People were very upset that they didn't receive their stuff on time. Things were delayed later than what was promised. And she has now gone on leave until further notice. Like the internet ridiculed her in a way that I haven't seen, but it just didn't, I've experienced, it just didn't allow for any level of grace.
No.
Like she was absolutely just supposed to operate like Amazon. And I don't understand why your stuff is late. If it was on sale, that's what people were saying. If it was on sale, it should have just been available. I should have just been able to receive it. Or how come I paid my money. How come I didn't receive?
That's not how to
Hanifa,
work.
I love Hanifa. I have multiple Hanifa pieces, as the fashion girlies say. It's not, what is the word?
It ain't
Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. It's not life or death product, right?
You're saying it's a discretionary item.
I don't need
Clothes.
Hanifa. Yes, I don't need Hanifa at all, and neither do you. Even if it was no shade, a wedding, a birthday party, you just want to go to dinner with whatever.
You don't need clothes.
You don't need Hanifa. You have clothes. You don't need Hanifa. You wanted it. You were disappointed. But doing the most about a really really beautiful outfit that you wanted to stunt in, this is where we are right now. That's so much so that you take to the internet to literally chastise a designer, a Black designer, which we have very few of, who get to sell their stuff and be able to have
and be independent
warehouse and all that. You go take to the internet to chastise them while they're on maternity leave.
Do y'all go and chastise Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy when?
No, but Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy is going to get you it immediately. Why? Because they use slave labor.
Damn near, yes.
So you are much more willing to go ham over a dress that is taking longer to be produced because they're not using unethical labor practices.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then for the Louis Vuitton bag that you get immediately in 2 days that you spent over $2,000 for, maybe even more, that's fine. You don't have no problem with it. You don't care how that was produced, just that it came in 2 days.
And guess what you could have did if you live in the New York metropolitan area? Could have came
right down here
to Canal Street, and you got the same exact bag. The same exact bag.
Yeah. It's the same bag.
It's exactly the same.
A lot of people say they can tell, but I'm like,
you
who
can't
cares?
tell shit. You don't know your fucking asshole from a hole in the wall half the time. If you tripping over some clothes not coming when you want them to come.
So, but I was just amazed.
This ain't McDonald's. This ain't Burger King. Have it your way.
I can see if your medication, your food order didn't come on time, and I'm not talking about Uber Eats. I'm talking about groceries. I can understand if you were stopped from getting into your house because your landlord take to the internet. Clothes. Mm-hmm. Fact that you cannot mess up, especially if you are Black and especially if you are gendered as or identify as a woman. There's no level of grace at all, right? Like, people are expecting you to be perfect. If this was a white woman-owned brand, it would not have the same level of ridicule. I mean, period. It just wouldn't. I don't need to point to nothing else. It just would not. And we know that categorically. So it upset me because, one, I do appreciate Hanifa, and I just felt like it wasn't necessary. But it got so much traction that she closed her doors so that she could take a moment to regroup. Like, that sucks. And I'm only seeing some of it. I'm sure she's seen most of it.
We've been on the end of our fair share. I think it's also interesting, too, that the thing that people choose to expend their energy on, they feel galvanized to expend their energy on this. But what are some other things on the internet? And let's take Ebony Luddite, Troglodyte Ebony out the picture, a person who hates the internet and social media. Take that part out of it. Say the internet does and social media does have some utility toward good and toward collective. I'll even venture to say collective liberation in the sense that if we could do a reverse Uno on these, whitest owned tech companies and actually upend them using the tools. Master's tool, dismantle the master house type shit. Say if we could do that, what more could y'all have done to help Hanifa? But not even help Hanifa, help somebody else. There's this grievance thing where motherfuckers will go and they will, say, hey, this is how I feel about the situation. We'll like a Yelp review. But it's almost like people are doing that to fulfill something else because it, like you said, it was unwarranted. And the volume, and you said it was like a huge uproar.
Massive. It was massive.
And that's the part where
where you closed your doors.
Right. That's what I'm looking at is like the intensity and the magnitude of people's upset such that occurred. How can that upset be harnessed toward the system?
Yeah.
Using social media, just like they use social media to have their operations would have them not get their clothes any faster.
The same way that people didn't receive their Hanifa outfit or garment or garments, feel powerless to come up against systems of oppression is impacting a Black woman in the same ways that you're targeted. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you feel powerless, so you're going to direct your energy towards an easy target under this system.
Yes.
There are so many instances where I actively see Black people online say, well, I can't come up against that. What are we supposed to do? This is the way it's always been. But I do want Black people, I want us to be mindful of where we feel like we can execute power. And it is oftentimes towards each other. And this goes into the center's discourse around queer representation too. Like literally the fact that a lot of Black cishet people feel emboldened to talk down to Black, queer, and trans people is truly deplorable to me, right? Like, it's deplorable because you don't have no fucking power either. So why you think you have power over me is beyond. The state is not regarding you or your body as more worthy than mine.
Just because you cisgender or heterosexual.
They don't see you as cisgender or heterosexual. Like they see you as a body. They see you as something they can take advantage of. But now you think you're going to get power over being transphobic, over being homophobic?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, wake up. Like, I've been saying, I think this episode, I don't know, this is like, we titled the episode after, but I feel like the episode should be titled Little Pete Hesgeths. I'm scared about how people are literally regurgitating the things that these white supremacists are saying verbatim. White supremacists say, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking?
Stop complaining.
Why are you critiquing this? Why are you speaking out against this? How come you don't just love America? If you don't love it here, you should get away. Go away.
Go somewhere else.
What?
If you see you got a house, you got a baby,
right.
you drive a car.
You seem to be doing fine. You're in the comfort of the West. Like, it just, I don't know.
We have gotten full for, so I get that into the episode.
Yeah, where have we been?
In full disclosure.
We were in Oakland for some time.
Yeah.
We were also in Portland. Shout out to the University of Portland.
The Black Cultural Center.
The Black Cultural Center. It was a really beautiful event. The Black students really clocked me and said, Black people do exist in Portland. Fuck what you heard. I said, you know what? Y'all are
Shout out to Woodline and all this and that.
Oregon has a horrible, violent history of racism and dispossession of land, in particular Black people. I think the statistic is that there has not been more than 2% Black people in the entire state of Oregon since the 1830s because they've had just horrible laws that actively remove
Oregon
Black people.
Was one of the first planned all-white utopias in the union.
And being in Portland, Ebony is so interesting. Ebony,
this is
Ebony, I think this is good. I think we haven't really talked about this so much on the podcast of how we navigate. Maybe we have. Maybe we've talked about this a little bit of how we navigate all white spaces. Is very different because I grew up in predominantly white spaces. I'm very clear on how they move and how they operate. And I am somebody I'm going to ignore you. Well, you don't exist to me at all. There was a time in my life where I was, very in the mix and trying to kiki and make jokes about, I don't know, Fiona Apple or something. And Dave Matthews Band. I'm not doing none of that stuff no more.
Except Fiona Apple, condemn Dave Matthews.
Go Marching is a bop.
Anyway, I don't even know what the hell that is. Okay, don't sing it.
Okay. I knew y'all started singing. I know y'all started singing. So I have just been groomed on how to navigate these spaces. And I'm not so much triggered in them. I don't even know if I can say used to them. I'm not really used to them anymore. I just don't really think about it so much. I'm clear that I'm the only Black person in the space, but it's not so much of a trigger. And it is a trigger. I'm going to back that up. It's a trigger to be in these all white spaces as the only Black person, but because I've done it so many times, it doesn't.
You're desensitized.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
It could be a defense mechanism that you've developed over time to survive being
100%. 100%. Now, Ebony is on the defense. Ebony,
I'm on the offense.
On the offense.
Mm-hmm. I'm on the offense.
Ebony's on the offense. Are we telling the story or no?
It's funny. It's funny. It'll get us back into the levity.
All right. So we walk into this coffee shop in Portland. I have done all
We just got there.
We have just got there. We got off the plane. Mind you, shout out to the Portland airport. That is one of the greatest airports next to SFO. So easy. Car rental right outside. There's nothing going on. Ain't nobody in the airport.
All planned white utopia.
All planned. Listen, SFO must have been an all planned white utopia too, because that is the greatest airport in the United States of America. There's no other airport like. I wish we could do an episode about that airport. In the airport. Anyway, so we get off the plane, get in a rental car, drive to a coffee shop. I have done a lot of TikTok research on where we should go.
This was a recommendation.
And this was a recommendation. I'm not even going to say the company, but it had stuff that I like bread, and it had a lot of bread.
As soon as you say bread, they going to know who it is. So we ain't even going to say what it was. We'll just call it a coffee shop because they got 700 coffee shops
so many coffee shops
per square foot.
It's known for its foodie community. So I was excited for the food and to go out to eat.
That's all white people want to do.
That's all I want to do. So we go into this coffee shop, and the two presumable white women at the front desk, like, hey, what can I get you? Like, how are you? Or whatever. And I'm looking at the bread and I'm looking at the menu, and I'm not really paying attention to Ebony. Mind you, we've gotten like 2 hours of sleep. We are very tired. And Ebony, I can feel Ebony's energy where I know that he feels a way about something, but I don't know what has happened. And now, if you've been in a relationship for long enough, you start to send each other Morse code. Like we can speak to each other without actually speaking. So I know when he's feeling something, even if he's literally across the room. I don't need to necessarily talk to him, but I couldn't figure it out because I was tired. I wasn't on. But I could tell that the white girl's energy was very much like, these black people are in front of me. I don't ever see no black people on a regular basis. I'm not giving them no energy.
One of them was very nice. I want to just clarify the story.
One of them was nice.
One of them immediately was like, hey, how you doing? You know how white people, they sometimes when they just start to overdo it. She, hey, how you doing? Very cheery. I like to be greeted when I'm going to come patronize.
Yeah.
She did what she had to do. That was fine.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? What's up? Woo woo.
Yeah.
But there was another person at the counter who did not say anything. Okay, that's normal. White people is rude as fuck. They don't never motherfucking speak.
Yeah.
So I'm always surprised when they do. So Erica is in the other person is asking them. The other cashier is asking Erica about the menu and what you like and breads and all that. But this one other person standing right next to them, which I'm like, why do you have two people just standing right here? They're just staring at me. And when I say staring, I'm gonna do just how they were doing, just on the camera. They just was staring dead at me, just like, where the camera at, Will? Dead. And I mean, without blinking. And sometimes you be, maybe they zoned out or something, like they could be thinking about something else. Now you continue.
So then Ebony goes, mind you, I'm in the menu, okay? That's my POV. I just want to order and sit down. Ebony goes, are you okay? And I'm like, wait a minute, what happens? Because I thought she said something, she made a face, she did something, but also now I'm triggered because I don't want to get into no altercation with white people. In particular, white women, they are quick to call the police. They are quick to say, oh, I feel threatened. I don't have no energy for that. I'm tired. I'm like, babe, please, for the love of God. It is 9 a.m. I cannot do it. And you were just, what were you saying?
So me and Erica was finna get the phone, because Erica was caught off guard because I was like, are you okay? And she's like, oh, I'm fine. She wasn't even surprised. She's like, oh, I'm fine. Because I'm just thinking to myself, like, what's up? Like, when you stare at somebody, generally speaking, if you're not zoning out, you normally avert your gaze we all do it.
Yes.
You avert your gaze. It's like, I'm just staring at that person. Gaze was not averted, and we are the only two black people in this entire establishment. Probably in the entire block.
Yeah.
Probably the whole entire block.
Yeah.
For miles.
Yeah.
We were the only blacks for miles. So I'm thinking what's up? Like, that's how I'm looking at her, like, you feel what I'm saying? And me and Erica almost got the phone because Erica's like, hey, what happened?
My thing is Ebony very clearly is seen as masculine, seen as a man. So you're talking to presumable women, presumable femme folks in a way that feels like you're expecting them to be a particular way.
But with the racial dynamic present.
The racial dynamic is important.
It's the most important thing in that regard.
But you have to factor in gender too, and how you are presumed and how you are referred to and seen inside of gender. You do have a level of privilege.
As a masculine person, a man, whatever you want to call it, trans man, I'm never going to set trip on no film.
No,
I'm
but
never gonna do that.
The way you said that to them was set tripping.
Oh no, I wasn't set. No, I there's a difference. I didn't push a hard line on her. Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay? But you thought I was gonna get Caroline Bryant.
Yes.
She ain't gonna Caroline Bryant me.
I got nervous, and I'm again tired. Yes, I got nervous that this was about to become something more. Because if you said that to me, I've also worked in the service industry where people have had to clock how my facial expressions or, you're not being right. So that's also a trigger for me because I'm like, you're in a position of service. You don't have to actually be smiling the whole time and, oh, yeah, what would you like? And yes, you say that, but then it's it. Like,
babe, I understand that because servers make some of the lowest wages.
Yeah.
Without slavery, actually, which invented the tipping system.
Yeah.
Without unfree labor, a lot of servers wouldn't even be able to make ends meet, let alone be in New York, motherfucker, living high off the hog
100%.
From working at cafeteria or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Some people, but it's a hard job. It's a hard life.
Yeah.
Bred in the middle of Portland. White baristas, even in Brooklyn, they act like work is beneath them. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to be up here looking at y'all motherfuckers.
They gave that.
Fuck?
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a whole conversation over here about some Hamnet. I'm trying to have a whole conversation about some stupid ass shit with the gravity and seriousness of the nuclear talks.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up here. They just act like that. In New York, they have it real bad.
Yeah.
They actually have it very bad. And in New York, you've seen me do it before.
It's worse. Yeah.
I done been in Brooklyn. They know. I think that's
also it, is that I don't know these people. I'm a very much an East Coast girly. I don't understand the whites. The whites on the West Coast are incredibly passive aggressive.
Extremely.
To a level that I have never seen before.
They are.
The whites on the East Coast and the South.
Outright.
You are blunt. Outright or you are super nice. And I know that either one is both racist.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
Either one can turn into the other.
Exactly.
Yes.
But these whites, They're too comfortable.
Yeah, but also they feel uncomfortable a lot of times.
Yes.
And so in order to make themselves feel comfortable, they start to impose. But they do it all over the world.
Yes.
They impose and they will right now.
Yes.
Our government.
Yes.
A white government, essentially.
Yes.
So my whole thing about that situation was you were trying to get me to understand the gender dynamics, but as a black transgender man, a white cis woman is always going to have more power than me. Now, do she know I'm transgender? Do I know if she's cisgender? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But a white woman, period.
Yeah.
Trans white woman, cis white woman.
Yeah.
Non-binary, feminine white person is going to have a lot more leeway with the law in terms of a conflict.
I'm not trying to say nothing to them unless they've said something to me. And if you're just looking at me, I don't care. And that person had a stank face the entire time. I kept pointing it out to you after we sat down.
My thing is, don't be stank to nobody, because just like you say, servers have hard ass days, and you don't know what the motherfucker who coming up into your establishment done been through.
Kind of day they had.
Motherfuckers is sanitation workers, people working custodial and janitorial jobs, people working landscaping, be outside in deleterious conditions, inclement weather.
Yeah.
You in a coffee shop listening to whatever these motherfuckers in them coffee shops.
Jack Harlow.
Y'all playing whatever song. Y'all at a damn boutique coffee shop.
Yeah.
At Starbucks, they don't get to pick that music. They got to listen to all about that bass, no treble over and over again.
It's not all about that bass no more. She done lost all
that weight. She ain't got no more bass. It's all treble. But at the same time, it's like, y'all at a position of privilege.
Yeah.
And you got to check yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't care. My mother, what people don't know, because I don't share a lot about my personal life. My mother was a server my entire life.
Yeah.
My mother was a bartender and a server for my entire life. That is how she supported our family.
Yeah.
Off that income. It was very difficult to do so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to check white women's all the time, but I'm not misogynistic like a lot of men are, where they feel like they can't push a hard line on other niggas or other men. So what they do is they push a hard line on femmes. You know, I'm very docile with femmes. I'm very docile.
That's why it caught me off guard, because I just was like, wait a minute, what's happening? And typically you give me a little signal. Typically what you'll do is you'll turn to me and be like, are they okay?
I think because of the racially charged nature, I felt like the ancestors was like, do it.
Yeah.
I think somebody was
something was speaking to you.
Somebody from over there.
Because it came out very...
From the Oregon Trail was just like, look, or even one of the indigenous ancestors was like, you got to check.
That's all I knew about Oregon was that Oregon Trail. That's what needs to come back.
The Trail of Tears. How about it?
But take away the phones. Take away the phones, open up the schools, and bring back the box computer where all you can play is solitaire and some other game that's not oppressive like Oregon Trail.
By the time I was in school, we was getting VPNs and Jesus.
That's you because you're a baby.
Yeah,
we didn't have all that.
You was breaking.
You were breaking into the computer. So that's where we've been. That's long story long. That's where we've been.
That says it all.
That was long. We were in Portland. Portland is interesting. I would go back for the book tour because I would go back for that Thai food.
And shout out to Third Eye Books.
We're trying to come to you.
We coming to Third Eye.
Speaking it to existence.
Patronize.
Yes.
We're gonna come buy some books. Y'all, all of y'all out there, go to I think one of the only Black-owned bookstores, if not
in all of Oregon.
Shit, it may be not. Maybe I don't know if all of Oregon, but another big accomplishment that is happening, and that we would be remiss to not mention very quickly before we get into the nuts and bolts and to the meat of the podcast, is that Erica is going on her book tour. Her first book that she's ever written, ever in her entire life, which is a surreal undertaking, and it was an extremely laborious I think it was more than 3 years from the inception in your mind to now, but it took about 3 years to write. It will be out on April 14th.
Yes.
Nasty work. A lot of y'all is some nasty work. So y'all gonna buy nasty work. But I'm extremely, extremely excited, and I'm extremely, it goes without saying, proud of you.
Thank you.
And so I want everybody to go out. Erica didn't release some of the dates, but if y'all want Erica to slide through to a city near you, holler at us. Y'all know
holler at us, but also holler at the publisher, Storehouse Voices. They go by what is requested from bookstores. Yes. So hit them up, let them know. I will 100% organize myself too. So email us and we will come. The tour right now it's on my Instagram, but it'll be up on the website and then also as a newsletter. But it's New York, April 13th, Philly, April 14th. And then April 16th, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty certain it's Houston. And then April 17th is LA at Reparations Club. And
all our international siblings out there.
Yes, we're trying to do the UK.
We fuck with y'all.
Somebody was like, come to Iceland.
We gonna be at Iceland.
Yeah.
We gonna slide to Iceland. We literally slide on the ice to Iceland, whatever. But I am so appreciative of everybody's support of my partner's book and of my partner's work, and just the groundswell of anticipation surrounding it. This is
it has made such a huge difference. Yeah. It was just a labor of love, and I appreciate you, Eb, for the multiple weekends and days. And yes, we are parents together, and that is your job, but to be with a child, a baby, a toddler by yourself so that I could write, and really devoting that time so I could go away to DC, it just was very helpful, and I appreciate you and love you and your thought partnership and your editing prowess. You know that Ebony is just an incredible writer that I look up to, one of my favorite, if not my favorite writer. And and like handing him my pages and him being like, babe, please write this over. Like, what are you talking about? Like, very heavy-handed, okay?
I'm heavy-handed.
Not planned. Like, you are not putting this out in the world.
I've been told to sandwich my criticism.
He needs a sandwich. That's the patriarchy. That's what you was trying to do, that white girl.
I wasn't being patriarchy. Her ass was being racist. So if patriarchy is something she have to suffer for her racism, it's a small price. It's just a small price.
So that's where we've been. We're tired. Now, in terms of moving forward, because of all this stuff with the book going on, we may have a few more episodes coming out, but then it might fall off again because of the tour.
Yes.
But you can always find us on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. I try to continue to talk about what's happening around the world as this country continues to wreak havoc all over.
And my wretched readers, I will admit, we have not had a meeting.
Yes.
I believe since January. We had a meeting in January.
Oh, okay.
And that was our last meeting. Like Erica said, I'm an imperial subject. What can I say? I'm not a person who will easily capitulate to the demands of the internet or to the demands of productivity and a hyper-capitalist society. So I don't really be responding to that. So I try my best. I'm a first-time parent. It ain't no manual to it. And so I try to prioritize my child and my family and Erica over all.
Yeah.
I really do. And I mean my Erica, my family, like my partner, but my child, but also like my mother and, you know, my best friends who just had a baby. And so all of that, you know, I prioritize the people. I prioritize my life.
He does.
Over the things that I produce.
Ebony is I've said this before, Ebony is very good at making sure that he rests. One of my good friends yesterday was like, with all of this stuff going on, what is the rest healing plan, right? When are you going to Korean spa? When are you going to acupuncture? Is all of this scheduled? When are you going to do a little beach trip to, you know, celebrate? One thing I talked to my therapist about is I haven't celebrated writing this book.
No.
I love looking up restaurants and things like that. I have not thought, oh, let me go out to dinner with Eb or take myself out even to dinner to go eat and something nice and celebrate and have champagne. I have not done that. No. So I'm definitely going to take more time to just be with this process and try to really be present. It's very fast moving because you finish the book and now you're talking about a tour and planning the tour and getting the book and doing promo. So it's a lot, but I want to just take more time to really sit with the fact that this is going to live forever.
Yes.
You know, and people will be able to come back to it well after I'm gone from this place. Yep. So I'm excited. I'm excited and I feel like an imposter. So I'm working.
Well, our brains are connected again because I was going to say that we both deal with a fair amount of imposter syndrome.
Yes.
So while I be trying to, you know, prioritize and I have poor time management skills, a little bit of neurodivergence, ADHD, it's also like some imposter syndrome. Like what we do at Wretched Readers makes a massive difference. So people have so told me. Yeah. And it makes a massive difference for me.
Yeah.
And the group of people that come and devote their time and energies toward our collective liberation in a real way, in such a supportive community. Sometimes I'm like, I sabotage it maybe, you know? You know, because of my own white supremacy derived imposter syndrome, where I'm like, Ebony cannot do anything.
That's real. Yes, I definitely
all these negative thoughts we start to have about ourselves, even in the midst of just doing the things that scare us. Yeah. And sometimes I get scared of I ain't scared of Caroline Bryant. Part 2, but I am afraid of I'm afraid of the things that I want to do. I'm afraid of things that I want, my desires. Yeah. I really fear my desires. Yeah. I fear my desires.
Yeah. And I see that. Yeah. I see that.
And I'm working on that.
And I think you see that in me too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. It's a reflection. Like we both go back and forth trying to making sure we lift each other up and push each other past that nonsense. Because it's not really imposter, it's trauma. Right? Yes. We've been told by the world that we ain't shit and it takes a lot to get through all of that and not have it become a part of you. And a big reason why it took me so long writing my book, in many ways because I was pregnant, because we were renovating the house, sure, all those things, but also is I didn't believe that I could do it. I didn't even know. I'm like, why am I being asked? And my therapist clocked me on something, is at our office. She was like, when you introduce yourself, what do you say? And I'm like, well, I say I'm this and I've done this and da-da-da. And she was like, no accolades, no awards. I know you got awards. And I was like, you know what's so funny? As I removed all the awards in our office because I felt like it was weird. And she was like, that's so fascinating to me. I'm like, God damn it. Like, I'm thinking I just want to look like minimal. And I want it to look
I like that, though. But I understand that the part of me that's in you that feeds the imposter syndrome and the sabotage would like that because it's self-effacing.
Yeah. I just don't believe that they have the right person. Like, that's a big part of it. Yes, it's also like design, but why wouldn't you be pressed to office? Why wouldn't you be proud of that? Why can't I reference those things? I can't even say what the names are.
You're not present to who we talked about this before. You're not present to who you are. Yes. And you say that about me. So I say all that to say that Wretched Readers, we are going to return.
Y'all must.
In a major way.
I want to be a part of it now that I'm done.
I need you to come.
I would love to come.
You normally teach sex ed as resistance. We'll talk about that. But Wretched Readers, we're reading this book here by Dr. Joy James, Resisting State Violence. I don't know how to say this, but in any other way, but that this is almost like an oracle in my hands, and it really foreshadows. It was written It was written around 1987. Yeah, it was published in 1996. Yeah, and she's talking about Cuba.
Yeah.
And she's talking about Panama, and she's talking about Venezuela.
Yeah.
And she's talking about U.S. foreign policy
Yeah.
being connected to U.S. domestic terrorism against Black people.
Yeah.
All right? Something that I think is really hard for y'all to connect and understand, that they are linked and connected.
Yeah.
So, Retro Readers, we coming back to finish Resistance Hate Violence together. And we have some really exciting things. And we have Erica's book, Nasty Work, coming out. So, we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
But we're here.
We're here. We're queer.
We're here. We're queer. And now.
And trans.
And transgenders. And non-binary. TGNCNB.
That's right.
T for NB love.
And not going nowhere.
Black T NB love.
First time consensual parents.
And
parents of East Hart.
And we're trying to make it do what it do.
Yes.
And
make
push a super hard line on Empire.
Yeah, it's a lot of reparenting of ourselves and really loving on ourselves and working, not regurgitating these harmful structures in our relationship with our child or with each other.
And I also be honest, Erica will be sharing, because y'all know I don't be on social media, and you'll share like, oh yeah, babe, did you see what Jack Harlow said? Woo-woo. I don't know. People don't know this, but cultural appropriation of Black culture, I can't say that it bothers me. It's something, that word is not apt to describe what happens to me when I see it.
Yeah.
It's not good for my spirit, so I don't really ingest a lot of, I couldn't even tell you an Eminem, I don't even know no Eminem songs.
You don't know Please Stand Up?
I heard it.
You really didn't listen to that when you were younger.
I put this on, I put my hand on the Bible, the Quran. I've never listened to no Eminem.
Wow.
Hand on the Bible. I never have. I remember they had that group really B12, but that was it. But I didn't listen to them either.
You hold a hard line, which keep going, but I want to come back to the line that you hold. I feel like that. I want you to say more about the Jack Harlow thing, but also Ludwig with Sinners.
Yes.
Because with the conversation that's happening, I don't know where this conversation came from, by the way. A lot of people are saying, I don't know why y'all are talking about queer representation in Sinners a year after the movie came back and it's won all these all awards. Why are y'all talking about this now? I don't know where it came from, to be honest. I don't know who started it, but queer people have been talking about the lack of queer representation in Sinners since it came out.
Immediately.
It's just popular now, right, to talk about. It just went viral, right?
Award season.
It was award season, so the movie is maybe trending a little more than when it first came out, right?
Yes.
But what makes me think about that is that Black people are more accepting of a non-racially ambiguous white actress, because that is what she is, talking about some third grandparent removed is Black, and that makes Haley Steinfeld, is that her name?
I don't know what the hell
Haley Steinfeld, a Black person. Y'all are more accepting of that, right? And also having the narrative of Asian people in the Mississippi Delta. Y'all are cool with that, but don't want no queer representation. Y'all are cool with the Zara Larsons, even Billie Eilish. No, she don't necessarily sing in the tone of Blackness, but she certainly be dressing that way, right?
She tries to sing in the tone of Blackness.
Right, you're cool with all of that.
She's unable.
But as soon as Black people say, hey, where the queer people at? Where the Black queer people at? Who would have 100% been there in the Mississippi Delta in the 1930s because Black queer people didn't just emerge out of some sort of tsunami in the 80s and 90s, and now we got queer people. We've been here since the beginning of time. Y'all talking about, shut up. Why are you talking about that? And why you care about that? And why y'all getting on Ryan Coogler? And you need to stop. And why y'all bringing this up a year later? And everything doesn't need to be in everything. Right?
Everybody don't need to be in everything.
It's just, I find it so frustrating where we hold the line. You hold the line with your queer phobia and your transphobia, but you're not holding the line with these white people. It's some white people in the movie, and now we've dug up that she had a Black grandparent three fucking centuries ago.
And how the hell y'all find that out?
Right, like.
But y'all couldn't find out by Ma Rainey or Bessie Smith how Black queer people are literally the forerunners and help create multiple genres of music. including the blues, most notably the blues.
This might be what you have also. We've talked about this on an earlier podcast. Yeah. Somebody find it so we can give credit to the fact that we've been talking about this for a long time. But what Ebony has always held a very hard line on, which I really appreciate, is he does not fuck with any white person doing anything with black music. Somebody messaged me the other day.
Culture and scholarship and
all of it.
Everything. Anything.
Somebody messaged me the other day, please tell me Ebony's Substack. Now, that's another thing that Ebony has not worked on.
It's called CDs, DVDs. Follow me, Ebony P. Donnelly. CDs, DVDs.
Follow me, and he hasn't written not a damn
I did a post in January. Go look at it. And I talked about Claire Ward.
I have been waiting for him to talk about this, to actually talk about the desire to have proximity to whiteness in black music. Why wasn't it considered racist what Jack Harlow said and it be taken down? That interview is still up on their main page. They do not care that black people are in large numbers speaking out against it.
This is Ebro's podcast.
No,
correct?
I'm talking about the original podcast. I think it was New York Times, the original podcast where he said, I got blacker the first time, not Ebro's. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Jack Harlow did some podcast on some nondescript milquetoast, these little generic podcasts, and he said
everybody got a podcast.
They got a motherfucking podcast. Golly, the motherfucking podcast. You ain't gonna be no more mics left. He said that he loves black music. And instead of going when other white artists have traditionally defected back to whiteness, more white sound, whatever the fuck that is, he decided to get blacker.
Yeah.
And that he loves black music and that he didn't say black people. I want to be mindful of that. And even if he did, he'd be lying. And it would be weird if he did say it. But he only said that he loved, and he didn't say culture either. He said, I love blackness, black people. He said, I love black music. And I'm blacker now. Okay, so I just want to say Jack Harlow, for those of you who don't know, because a lot of y'all don't know who the fuck that is. I
don't know who that is.
He's a weak ass rapper. I mean, first of all, I don't believe, first of all, ain't no such thing as a white rapper. I have said that many years now.
You have.
Ain't no motherfucking such thing as a white rapper. It ain't. It just ain't. So I don't know what to call them.
How do you argue with the people who put Eminem very high up on the list of some of the greatest rappers?
You have to pry Eminem nutsack out a lot of these black rappers' mouths. Now, some rappers in Detroit, I think it was Skilla Baby. I like Skilla Baby. He like a hood Detroit rapper, but he was like, I don't really be thinking about Eminem. He from Detroit. Like, that ain't who we was really fucking with. Like, we're from the trench. Like, we wasn't listening to that type of shit. That's not really who we look to for inspiration. But Royce the 5'9" and 50 Cent and fucking Dr. Dre bitch ass, like dick and balls. They're on dick and balls to the max on Eminem, who has said the N-word multiple times, is a virulent racist, and we want to talk about patriarchy, a virulent misogynist, and this has made extremely disgusting references to the R word and to sexual assault in lots of his music. He has talked about essentially killing his baby mother. None of those songs have really been censored in a way that a lot of black music, even especially black political music, like artists like Dead Prez and M1 from Dead Prez talking about Palestine and shit. Like,
I'm glad you went to that, because what people will say is black rappers rap about that stuff all the time. Remember, we're in the era of anti-intellectualism.
So you just want to go tit for tat? You want to buy that logic? Well, they did. They jump off a bridge. You gonna do it too? Like, where do you think that rhetoric comes from? You mentioned chattel slavery. And the transatlantic slave trade. This is how you get a white rapper. This is how you get Eminem. This is how you get Jack Harlow. Everybody don't need to be in everything, but y'all don't say that about Jack Harlow and Eminem. Y'all talking about people giving their opinion, people who love Sinners. Erica loves Sinners.
I love that movie.
A lot of people that we talked to, a lot of black people, black queer and trans people, went out, opened their coin purse and supported that movie. They didn't say, I'm not going to support it anymore. They saw it multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily makes sense for y'all to be like, oh, everything don't need to be for everybody. But then black culture, blackness, black language, and black folkways is just completely devoid of any type of guardrails or protections. It's just open for the slaughter.
Yeah. Open for the taking.
And open for the taking. Anybody can have it in the cookout mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Some of y'all, we all talk about, oh, we got ancestors, and Harriet Tubman was my ancestor. No, some of y'all Booker T's descendants. Booker T. Washington, who essentially said during the Reconstruction period, y'all need to cast down y'all buckets and let the white man help y'all. Y'all need to stop making art. This is Booker T. Washington. Why is y'all doing poetry, writing and making art and talking about reparations during the time and trying to get reparations for past grievances? Why are y'all doing that? Y'all need to be out on the steel mill. Y'all need to be out farming. We need to be using our hands, even though we had used our hands for 400 years in order to... Now he said you got to prove that you're worthy of the labor that you used to do 400 years for free.
Yeah.
For white people's benefit. Now you got to prove to them that you're a hard worker. Unfree labor, forced labor, now have to prove that they're worthy to work. Some of y'all I don't think Harriet Tubman actually said she was going to shoot people with a shotgun. Yeah. That's been attributed to her. But if she did, some of y'all would have had that on y'all back.
Yeah.
Y'all would have had that double gauge on y'all back immediately. I have a theory, just as going back to centers and kind of intersplicing these, but the most homophobic among us, and you often talk about this prevailing myth that Black people are the most homophobic group. That is a fallacy. And I believe that fallacy is so interesting considering that we're also seen as the most sexually deviant and hypersexual.
Yeah.
But then we're also the most prudish and puritanical about sexuality and gender.
It's not adding up.
It ain't. The math is not mathing.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, I think some of the most homophobic among us are the most subservient to whites. The most homophobic people in the Black community. If you start to talk to them more, you will realize they might have that little hotep veneer, but underneath all that ain't nothing but smoke and mirrors, that Black Israelite little costumes and shit. That's why them niggas walk around with Lord of the Ring costumes on. Walking down the Atlantic with them costumes on and shit. Or 42nd Street with them costumes on and them signs. It's all smoke and mirrors.
I was once harassed because I was making out with somebody in front of them and they was staring at me. They were like, "Why are you doing that?
Why you not doing that?" I'm doing it because you can't.
Talk to each other. So I'm like, "What? Who are you talking to? You talking to me? Like on the train?"
Right. The fact. But that's my thing. It's like they be coons. A lot of these people with homophobia, it's like, homophobia and transphobia is not a formidable foe against white supremacy.
It's not.
Y'all talking about, y'all trying to push the lifestyle. A lifestyle has already been pushed on you. You live in the United States. They call it America, and it's a part of the Americas. Yeah. And they call it the America. North America is not just the United States. But y'all believe that? It's already, the agenda is already, the project is complete on y'all. But it's never too late. But for y'all, like you said, for you to think that that's going to protect you, because they believe it's a hedge of protection.
They do.
Against white people. They think it a way to ingratiate themselves to white people more, which is what a lot of white people are doing with this centers conversation is, y'all are, in a way, y'all ain't defending Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Y'all are defending this white man Ludwig, because all we are saying is that on a musicological basis, if in so much as blues is a main thoroughfare or a prominent element of centers, the omission of queer people was a glaring omission. It was a historical inaccuracy. It is a historical in so much, if this is a film about the blues where the blues plays a heavy role, and musicologically, it just doesn't make sense to not have queer people there.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the juke joint, as a lot of people have mentioned, and a lot of great scholars, great musicological scholars like Farrah Griffin and other people who study the blues, they'll tell you the juke joint was a place where you would go meet your pieces. You would go and be doing all type of gay shit that you couldn't really do out in the open during the 1920s and the 1930s. That's where you would do it. Y'all think that gay people just came about recently.
So
queer
ridiculous.
people, trans people just came about now. Right? The reason why you think that's because a white person told you. And a lot of the things that y'all believe, it's because they told you.
And there's a belief, which is consistent with white people telling you, because a lot of people said this too, is that Black queer narratives are prominent right now.
How?
Where?
So we can go support it.
Yeah, where?
So we can go support it.
There's more Black queer movies than there are Black cis het movies. What's happening? But this is what white supremacist Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, is rallying against. This is why we see anti-trans legislation across the country, is because they believe, like I said in a very old video now, that with drag queens reading to children at libraries, with shows like Pose, or even Ballroom being even more mainstream discourse, with, I would say, RuPaul's Drag Race become, way more popular in recent years. All of that stuff made people worrisome about how they can control people. Because at the end of the day, they don't care how you identify. They just want you beholden to the state. And if you're only going to be beholden to the state, if you think that you're just supposed to give to a man, make food for a man as a woman, be a fucking incubator to babies. And if you're a man, you're supposed to go off to war or support war. And you're also supposed to work and contribute to the capitalist, militaristic economy. That's all you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to ask no questions. You're not supposed to critique it. You're just supposed to fall in line. And when you have kids, you need to convince them that they do the same thing.
Over and over
and over, like a fucking mill.
Yeah.
Right? And if you question it, then what? Then it's a problem. Then you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to read. What's his name? J.D. Vance say? The professors are the problem. You know why they're attacking the professors? It's because professors actually read. Yeah. They actually provide critical analysis of the world.
They teach you how to
typically, not all of them.
Yeah, well.
Okay?
Big asterisk. Big asterisk.
They teach you how to actually be critical of the world around you.
Yes.
They don't want that. So with queer people saying, hey, let's have some critical discourse about an excellent film, about a film that had us even feel seen. Ebony feels differently. About a film that had us even feel seen. We are receiving the people replicating the talking points of Empire. And that is dystopian, to say the least. People who literally have no power with Empire are talking to us in the same ways that these white supremacists are speaking. And all of it is a conditioning around the removal of bodily autonomy. Yes. Because with the advent of AI, which asserts that you are just supposed to put your information into a computer and have it regurgitate a product so you can sell it much faster than you would with writing a book for 3 years, let me tell you. Okay, there's somebody right now, I can't remember the name, it doesn't matter. It's an AI book. They wrote it with AI. They've made $250,000 so far. What? They wrote it in 24 hours, and they wrote it. They put it through AI and put it out in 24 hours, and they've made $250,000 so far. And this, again, I go back to, I'm sorry, this is also why y'all frustrated with Hanifa. Yeah. You wanted that shit to be just push it out. Why can't you just do it now? Why can't you just, y'all don't know anything about no process.
AI starts to aid in the further dehumanization of people who would already be dehumanized.
Yes.
You don't see her labor as valuable.
Yeah. But it's a form of chattel slavery. You just think that something else is supposed to do labor for you, and you're supposed to get it as fast as possible so that you can have money, right? So you can have the product, right? That is very concerning. And it's stopping people from actually being able to exercise their autonomy in terms of their brain, right? Being able to use their mind.
You think for yourself.
You're not. You're thinking in terms of what a computer.
Well, I am thinking for myself. I said gays have a gay agenda.
No, that is my thought. I talked to my lesbian mom, and she said, "Shut the fuck up." This is what people are saying to me. Somebody else did AI statistics of Oakland and said Oakland is only 21% black. So how is it the blackest city in the U.S.? I'm like, y'all.
How did it become not the blackest city?
Did you just went and got these AI stats? You ain't look at no gentrification numbers, nothing. Oh my! Somebody else was like, "Well, I was accosted at a gas station as a queer person in Oakland. So does that make it not queer because that happened to you?" Like
that was a queer person that had accosted you,
right?
That nigga, whoever accosted you was gay too, and their mama was gay too, and a stud. So what's the point?
We are in a moment of the president of the United States doing everything, and the president of the United States, I say Trump and Netanyahu, doing everything in their power to remove people's autonomy. And it is happening to everyone, from the merger of all of these television networks, from GLP-1 ads increasing, from airlines creating policies to say that if you
are not on a GLP-1.
Exactly. So, and they stand to benefit from forcing folks into GLP-1s by asserting that your body is wrong.
So you got to pay for an extra
fit
seat.
in the super small seat, because early in January this year, I believe, it was January last year or January this year, there was a study that said that GLP-1s will help the airline industry because it decreases the load on the plane. Jesus have mercy, but all of these things are connected. Yes. The United States is literally going into countries and killing children in droves.
Yes. Using AI to do it.
Using AI. They are saying, oh, AI doesn't harm civilians. AI is a robot. AI is not
the creators have said AI that are killing children
and
are
also,
saying
this is a genocide. Let's be straight up.
Let's do that.
Okay? It's a genocide.
Yes.
None of these wars, and if you go back and actually consider, how is the president of the United States a pedophile, a white supremacist, a rapist, against immigration, anti-trans, is just a horrible, deplorable person from reality television going to free any nation? How is, now clock this, any former president going to do that? Because all of them have upheld those same beliefs as they were the commander-in-chief of the fucking white supremacist capitalist police state called the United States of America.
Yeah.
How were any of them going to do that? Any war that the United States has engaged in was not of good faith. And I will say,
no wars are of good faith.
Argue with your mom. Not a single solitary war was done in a way to actually make a difference. Since when has dropping bombs on whole communities actually freed anybody? Since when has dropping bombs on any communities ended any level of systemic oppression? How is it that 2 Black women are in Florida about to go into labor, literally in labor. They are in labor on the hospital bed saying, I do not want a C-section. And they are forced to go into a legal conversation with a judge and other lawyers that they have never met. They are all a part of the hospital on Zoom, who are making the decision for them, for their body to have a baby via C-section anyway.
Yeah.
That is the country that we live in. And people believe that we are actually going to do something for anybody else when the people here are not free. But that's the thing, though. That's the thing with the media, what you always say, it's the fourth arm of the state.
Yeah, I didn't
People
say that.
are convinced that they are free here. And it is the most wildest thing I have ever seen in my life.
I think that's what feels...
You
like
are
you just
on the plantation. You are not free in this country. Cut it out. I don't care if you have a 5-bedroom house, you drive an Escalade, you drive a Tesla, your refrigerator is full, your kids is off to college and is paid for, you're able to, go on vacations and buy expensive shit. Your ass is not free. It can be taken away at any given moment.
Yeah.
At any given moment, you will be harmed, especially if you are Black.
Yeah.
Or any sort of distance from whiteness.
Yeah.
They will immediately take it away. And also, white people, wake it up for your ass too. It may take a little bit longer, but they're going to come for you too if you have any sort of resistance
already come for
to the state. They have. They've already come. Y'all walking down the street, not even necessarily a part of organizing, and they're killing you.
Yeah.
You got to wake up. It's no freedom here. It's the illusion of freedom. It's the trappings of freedom.
That's the dystopian part too. It's freedom without being free.
Yes.
It's freedom in a cage.
What does freedom look like to you?
Reparations for Black people.
And what else?
Us having, I'm not even going to say our own nation state, because I'm starting to, the nation state in and of itself is a modern racial advent, having a nation state. It's all wrapped up in that. But I know it starts there. I do think freedom can come in some more insidious ways. There are ways that Black disabled people, Black trans people, Black poor people continue to resist state violence and continue to essentially, as Dr. Joy James says, has marunage. Like, we have our own communities, we have our own subcultures, and we have our own places of refuge and escape from under the thumb of this repression that we experience here. To your point, how the fuck y'all think that the United States could upend or remove any repressive regime and that regime not get more repressive on its people?
Okay.
I don't know what good y'all think could come from the United States invasion of Iran, but the fact that y'all think the United States is good and benevolent in the first place is all a part of the racial project of the United States as a nation state.
100%.
That's just it. And so I don't know what freedom could look like without reparations first. And I just mean as a starting point. I mean, and when I say reparation, I mean a cash payment remittance.
Yeah.
Any of us get direct deposit, it's called a remittance notice before your direct deposit hit. We need remittance. Checks. I don't fuck with Bernie Sanders talking about. Yeah. It's not just checks for you. Yeah. You already got your check.
Ooh.
And you got it off our back.
Ooh.
You actually live in $1 million house, Bernie Sanders. That probably ain't your only residence.
Nope.
And it's a lot of black people.
It's probably nice too.
Who can't even afford. No, it's probably a little hell.
Vermont is nice. It's probably mid-century.
It's it is. It's got all the wood paneling. It's them
it's
pets
old.
And blankets.
I love how white people talk about. This is just a quick side note. Is that there's a popular TikTok page that asks people. It's not on the street. It's very scripted, right? They already know who they're going to talk to if they can see their apartments, right, or where they live. And this one person, they walk up to and they're like, "Can we see how much do you pay?" They always ask, how much do you pay for rent? And they're like, oh, I don't rent, I own. And they're like, well, can we come see your apartment or house? And she was like, sure. So we've been living in this brownstone for about 30 years, about 60 years. It was passed down from my grandparents and like to my other family. And it's just been so great because when we were kids, we used to just run upstairs and go to, our grandparents' house and like be up there and like hanging out. It's just so fascinating that it doesn't even occur to them.
So people are trying to say that black people live in the comfort of the West. White people don't know that this is the West. They just like, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm just comfortable. Like, I'm not thinking, I don't even know what hemisphere is this? I don't know.
In the comfort of the West because I could touch a white person at a restaurant. Is that what you mean? I could brush shoulders with them? That's what makes me
eat at the counter now and drink at the same water fountain. You didn't used to.
That makes me be in the comfort of the West. But the second that I enter into a hospital or even a predominantly white neighborhood,
how about your car, Sandra Bland, when you want to get
riding down the street?
Your car, driving down the street.
Okay, hello.
Philando Castile.
Was it not enough people? I think that's my thing. Was it not enough people?
Well, that's
Sandra Bland wasn't enough. Adriana Smith wasn't enough. Okay?
That's the thing about
it wasn't enough for y'all to see that ain't no comfort of the West. You needed more. You mean more dead bodies? People say, "Oh, there was no bombs dropped here." You needed another move. I need to keep reminding you of that. How many more do you need? But also, like you said, you don't just need bombs. You can create food apartheid, which already exists. You can build supercomputers in places like Memphis.
You can have a white-owned studio produce a movie about white people vampirizing and stealing and profiting off of black culture and have that music supervisor be white.
But Ebony, they've been friends since college.
Like I said
they've
already,
been friends since college, Ebony.
He came out his nutsack. He could have came direct imported.
What is this obsession you have with nutsacks lately?
Out of Ryan Coogler's sack.
I'm triggered.
He could have came out of Ryan Coogler's sack, and it would be the same situation. You understand?
I don't know why that. Can you explain to me why is that the retort? Why are people saying they've been friends since college?
Let me tell you something.
So what?
The day one niggas is like middle school, high school.
Period. Like, you don't got no cousin that you could have put on that like
he do. If you really from Oakland, you got a million cousins that is expected to be put on.
But could we sit and consider that perhaps Ryan Coogler continues to work with Ludwig because he knows how racist the industry is, and his movies likely won't actually see the light of day much past the black community if he don't have proximity to a white person? Could potentially that be the case?
It may have been strategic.
Is it the same way that Jack Harlow, as a white person, is able to continue to make quote unquote black music and people will still buy it, and he'll be able to talk very racist about black culture as if it's some object that he could just have?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you, the Grammys is not a reputable.
The Oscars?
No, I'm talking about the Grammys now. The Grammys is not a reputable litmus or metric of talent. So we don't care about what the Grammys think. However, I'm going to tell you
sorry,
right now.
just pause 1 second. We make sure we do Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
But we've covered everything else.
Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, Jack Harlow will never see the light of day of a Grammy for Album of the Year or nothing like that.
You believe that?
Jack Harlow...
He might win for Monica.
Bang. I'm going to tell you right now, he named that Monica because he couldn't think of nothing else.
He said that. They asked him why Monica. He was like, I just like the name. It's
that's what I'm saying.
We just talked about imposter syndrome. People are like, why did you name your book Nasty Work? First of all, do you know how long it took me to name my book? It took me about 3 years. I didn't have a title.
The manuscript was already...
The manuscript it passed in, and I still didn't have a title. So the fact that he just was like, I just like the name. Like, what?
This is the part. I think that's the dystopian part for me. Is that you live in a country like that, where it's this movie. One, I think Ryan Coogler could have been strategic, but whether or not you were strategic, you sacrifice historical accuracy because you prioritize a personal relationship. That doesn't necessarily make sense for a film about Black music, especially how fraught the landscape is with cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
If we're doing Black Panther and we're doing these all kind of like random, like hodgepodge of what we think African cultures are and tribes are, do that. Do that. Do not hop into any more socio-political territory than is necessary for you to get your coin. Don't hop into cultural appropriation conversation.
Yeah.
If you, as an artist, as a filmmaker, if you are not poised to do it justice. The fact that I found out that Ludwig is the composer for Fruitvale Station, which was about the BART police execution of Oscar Grant, that part for me throws all the strategy piece out. Because you also had an option. Ludwig, to my knowledge, is not from no motherfucking Oakland. And even if he was, he's not qualified to be a music composer on anything dealing with a Black person being killed by the police. Black people are killed by the police so that we can have Ludwig and Jack Harlow, so that they can have careers. Right, so that they can live, so we can have Billie Eilish and they can live, and so Bernie Sanders and all these white people can go around and say, "This is my house," and you used to have it for 60 years. How do you?
How did you have it?
Where do we live? I think a lot about indigenous people. I think a lot about First Nations people, and I'm like, nobody's thinking like, okay, I had this land. This is why the Zionists are able to take control of American media, or they used to be. It's a lot of pushback now against them where it wasn't before. But the Zionists have convinced people that when you steal somebody's land, it's no longer their land because another person wants it.
Woo, make that connection. Make that connection.
The reason why Americans are so susceptible to Zionism, especially white Americans, is so susceptible to it is not that they care about Judaism. White Christian evangelicals and just white Americans in general, even though they don't go to church, they call themselves evangelicals. They don't go to church.
No.
They're susceptible to Zionism because of the displacement and genocide of indigenous Americans here and how we've all accepted that as a level of normalcy, right? People don't think about it anymore unless did the land back campaign on the website of a school or, they got land acknowledgements going around and shit like that at the workshops or the organizer space. But you're not thinking about that beyond those moments.
It's not present.
It's not present.
We don't even know a lot of the history. We're not taught it.
No, and you're not present to the efforts, the current day, present day efforts of many indigenous groups to get their land back. Indigenous people have taken up arms since colonizers arrived here.
You know how bad it is? Is that people that wanted Kamala to win said, we've been harming Palestinians, supporting the apartheid state of Israel for a very long time. Where have y'all been? But also, why does it matter? It's been going on so long. That's how bad it is.
So there's this resignation. There's this acceptance that now we are supposed to just take it. And not only you take it, you have to believe it. They want you to believe it, but then after you believe it, you have to endorse it. And after you endorse it, you have to spread it. So propaganda is not just, I want you to see the image. I want you to really internalize the image so that then you can go and promulgate it to the rest of the world. Propaganda has to be spread. That's the point. That's kind of the nature of the word. It's to spread the misinformation, right? So we are living inside of a false dichotomy, a false narrative called the United States is America. We calling something that it's not. Y'all are talking about Israel and not saying Palestine when Israel was a creation of the United Kingdom in 1918 with the Balfour Declaration, which a lot of people have already said. Palestinians are called Palestinians because of Palestine.
Yeah.
That's the name of the land.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But after the United Nations Convention in 1950 or 1948, when Israel was made into a nation state by the United Nations, now all of a sudden, when you see maps, you used to see maps say Palestine, guess what you see on the maps now? Is dwindling away, but you also see Israel. They don't have Palestine on a lot of maps anymore. But there are maps that exist that do. So how the fuck did that happen?
Another form of propaganda.
So that's the thing. It's like y'all sitting up here believing that white people all of a sudden, oh man, they just Ludwig, Jack Harlow and them, they just love black people. Like, what's the issue? What's the problem? Like, we need to stick together.
But then a black queer person said, why weren't in the middle? Shut up.
Shut up.
But Ludwig, they've been since roomies.
White people represent, white cis men, there's some weird, I can't even get into that, the gender dynamics between black cis men and white cis men, cishet men in particular. But it's in general, black cis men and white cis men have some relationship to each other. And I've talked about it before. And it is a romanticization. And niggas in the Bay Area, they do it. And they be chummy with whites.
About this.
People in the Bay Area be chummy with whites.
And also non-black
people of color.
Okay.
And the Bay Area is the victim of lots of gentrification and displacement that would have it no longer be a predominantly black city how it was at a point. The culture is predominantly black. There is no Oakland culture that is not black. I'm going to tell you right now. There with the hippies, that's Berkeley. And even Berkeley had a sizable black community now that has been pushed to the south end of the city as of a few decades. So don't try here with anything about Oakland. Don't pull no chat GPT. I'm from it. I done lived it. I done been.
Would you say that Oakland is a black queer place?
Yes.
Okay.
But not as much as it used to be.
Okay.
Not as much
because of gentrification.
Because of gentrification, but also because there's this idea, even black. Speaking of juke joints and the blues, Oakland had a sizable blues culture because of the Great Migration. A lot of our families be coming from Texas and Mississippi and Louisiana especially. Mostly Louisiana, not mostly, but a big Texas and Louisiana is a big part of our history and our heritage and our ancestry in Oakland and the Bay Area in general, Richmond and places like that. So with that came the culture, right? Came the music. Oakland is a very black Southern culture. That's why you be like, Oakland is a small town because we very country in our ways. Even in San Francisco, country Southern in their own way. Shout out to the city, which also used to be a large, sizable black community where San Francisco was a place to be at for the blues in the 1940s and 50s. What people don't know. So Oakland used to have a lot of juke joints and they used to have a lot of clubs, a lot of juke joints. And a lot of clubs, black owned. And what started to happen in the 80s and 90s is that white people started coming and joining and started coming to these clubs, some of them, more so than ones in like Eli's Mile High Club, I think, which is in West Oakland, stuff like that. Okay. So people started, so the whites started coming because they want to hear the music. And what starts to happen is that the more and more that a white person like a thing, coffee, sugar, chocolate, salt,
hummus,
the more they start
olives,
when they start to like something, they taste it, especially in the 13th and 14th century. When they start tasting that shit, they're like, I must have more.
And guess what that is?
Alcohol.
Nope. Portland. That's what it is.
That's it.
Literally the only black and non-black people of color that are in Portland, to what, obviously they live there.
From what we
saw are cooking in restaurants. They're cooking.
Or serving.
They're making the food for this massive white community. I mean, if there's any example of colonialism, it's Portland.
And so that's my thing, is like, I think the reason why it bothers me so much, just to go back to cultural appropriation piece, is because it's connection to empire. Cultural appropriation is a weapon and a tool of empire. It is an imperialist framework. And it needs not ever be separated from imperialist violence that happens so that white people can have thriving careers in some of the most lucrative industries. Like the film and television industry.
It's not random
or
that Ludwig received this award for producing or composing music on a black ass movie in the same award show that a white man who has no political knowledge, education, care, even though he has very direct proximity to a black person called Maya Rudolph, right? It has black children, okay? Biracial children, children. He don't care, right? Paul Anderson Thomas, he does not care. He's also awarded. He could create a movie about revolution and have black people in it and not have no political understanding or worry or interest at all. I don't want to talk about that, is what he said. He's awarded at the same time Ludwig is. People have to make that connection. I'm sorry. It's a black ass movie. It's a black ass movie. And they won 4 awards. 2 out of the 4 people are black. Okay? The cinematographer is mixed race. I don't know that she identifies as black. I think she has a black parent and she's black and Asian. I'm assuming she identifies as
don't know.
mixed, but I'm going to just be clear. Unambiguously black folks was 2 out of the 4 for a black ass movie. And they were the most nominated movie, I think, of all time, or at least for this particular award cycle. Yes.
Then was it a black ass movie?
We did talk about this. This was in that episode. Was it a black ass movie? Ebony, they went to college together.
Imperialist violence.
I just feel like my brain.
It was no black person in the Mississippi Delta and Clarksville, Mississippi, where it was set. It's not viewed as a valuable place. It's viewed as a set. It's not a valuable place because a lot of black people live there.
And there wasn't even a movie theater for them to watch it.
No.
In the town.
And that ain't no fault of Ryan Coogler.
No.
I ain't tripping. But
it is something to be mindful of. If you're showing a movie, if you're creating a movie around the Mississippi Delta and there's no place for the people in the actual community to watch the movie, and you have insurmountable amount of access and wealth and resources, that be the first thing you think about. But I don't know Ryan Coogler's politics. I think we're asserting his politics based because we like him because he's conventionally attractive black man, which desirability is all up in this conversation too.
I'm from Oakland. I'm from the East. I ain't mincing no words around Ryan Coogler. I'm not missing no words. I'm probably 2 or 3 people removed from Ryan Coogler. So if he wants to call me, he could call
Ebony.
me. I'm not tripping. We could talk about it. But I think the movie incited a lot of welcome discourse. I think if it didn't incite discourse, he would probably be a little peeved about that. It's not like a Marty Supreme. Like, ain't nobody in 10 minutes. People ain't. When people left Marty Supreme, left that theater, they forgot what they saw. They completely like, what was that? Marty said what? Ping pong.
Ping pong.
That my whole thing is like.
Now they talking about how he don't dress sexy no more. How he lost his sexy.
Who went?
Because he used to wear shirts when he used to wear blazers. Like, I'm wearing a blazer. I love a blazer. Y'all know I love a blazer. No shirt though. And he used to wear scarves.
Because he got bird chest. So he don't want to have, when people are bird
But
chest,
now he's dressing
like Marty Supreme. White people are great actors because, and they make up a lot of the film industry because art is fake.
Yes.
White people, I'm about to say I love you. I don't. Y'all fake. Y'all fake as hell. And I'm going to be honest, even Ludwig is like, I can't even put this all on Ryan Coogler. We all blessed with free will. If that's a white person, I'm white. Let me imagine myself as white. And come work on this film. What the film about? Oh, it's about blues and black music and how white people be stealing black culture like vampires and sucking the lifeblood out of our culture and all the profits and such that we die. No, I don't think I can. But it said, Ludwig said, sign me up.
Why is it so impossible to think that he couldn't have said that?
What's the rate? Oh, I had a contract. They don't even say what's the rate. Oh, I was just sending a contract over.
But why is it impossible that he couldn't have just said that? But it's impossible that he couldn't have just said that. He needed to do it. He's good at his job, which is that white people are good at their job. The art is not fake. The propaganda is fake. That white people are inherently good at it
and better
while they profit off of black people.
That.
And fuck the Oscars because Henry Job, the voice of Henry Job, which is a documentary about a child in Palestine who was murdered with their family when they called for help.
Yes, Lord.
Did not win. And even if it did win, one of the main actors in the documentary could not even come because they are banned from the United States as a Palestinian. Like, this is a joke. And only one person said free Palestine. Like, can I critique that too? Like, sinners, you're writing this movie, and yes, it's profound. I love it, but you're not also talking about anything on that stage when you get up there either. And I'm curious.
I want to love the movie, but it's all the other things surrounding the movie that's hard for me. The studio presence, that sort of diminish some of the representative value, symbolic value that a lot of people, Black people, feel for and are fair to feel. I'm not going to poo-poo on y'all feeling seen by sinners. I think it did great in a lot of ways. However, it doesn't jive well with me. He's writing a letter and saying, "Thank y'all, Ryan Coogler. Thank y'all so much. We love y'all coming to the movies. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. AMC, go see the fucking movie." And here are all my inspirations. Of course, you got Spike Lee and everything. You got the Safdie brothers, who did Uncut Gems, and also Marty Supreme and Steven Soderbergh and all these.
Yes,
losers.
Because you could connect the pedestalizing of these men.
That's the thing.
Okay,
that's the thing.
Ludwig and Coogler are both cis men at the end of the day.
And his wife had a lot. Zinzi Coogler had a lot to do with the creation of the film, and Ryan Coogler had to say, like you said, he had to say multiple times, even though she's in the credits, that me and my wife did this together. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't have just been her name on it. Because the studio would have been like, it maybe people wouldn't have came out, even if it got produced. Like, you know, maybe they wouldn't want to give as much money. Whatever the case may be, again, when we say we live in a white supremacist, racial, capitalist patriarchy, that goes for it all.
Yeah.
You know, that especially things that are studio produced by large white institutions.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm saying. The revolutionary value, rather, can only go so far.
Yeah.
With a film like that, much less with a film about Black music.
Yeah.
One of the blues is, beside the gospel, is the bedrock of all American music, which American music is just Black music.
And Sister Rosetta Tharpe was playing the blues, was playing gospel.
You know what? Rock and roll, gospel.
But that's why they had Brittany. So Brittany Howard was a part of the performance at the Oscars.
Cool.
Brittany Howard is queer. So clearly, y'all were able to see that queerness should have been included. Even having Sister Rosetta Tharpe at person in the juke joint would have made it, in the church would have made a difference.
Babe,
how gay? Sorry. How y'all don't think Oakland is gay? Okay, that's fine. Y'all don't think
y'all never been.
Y'all don't think Oakland is queer? Okay, that's fine. But you know what is queer? Unequivocally, you know what is queer? The Black church, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's gay as hell. So where were the gay people in that church? Y'all don't think gay people is in the Black church? They couldn't have been in that scene with Saul Williams. Shout out to Saul Williams.
Shout out to Saul Williams.
Well, I'm confused.
Here's the deal. A movie, you cannot expect, like you said yesterday, you can't reasonably expect a movie about Black music and white people stealing Black culture via that music, having a white person produce and compose the music for it. You cannot reasonably expect a film like that to also include Black queer representation. That's not queer. That's not a queering of filmmaking. By using the same people. A queering would be, I got to do the extra legwork to make sure that there is somebody in that Mississippi Delta who could have had that credit, who could have been the composer, and then would have probably likely won that award. And that would have done leagues more from them than Ludwig, who I believe has already won that same award, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he's won it twice. He won it for Black Panther too.
There's something happening with Black people, and I don't know if it's when you get to a certain level or stature where it's like, you not only do you believe the lie, especially in the film industry and just being around film for a long time, especially in college, there is a pedestalizing of not just men, but there's a pedestalizing of white men. The Martin Scorsese's, the Steven Soderberghs. Like, you'll see Black filmmakers, new ones, Quentin Tarantino. You'll see them motherfuckers all the time. It's like you said, how they used to be trying to sound cool, talking about Fiona Apple and Dave Matthews Band. Have you ever been to a film school?
Or a film class? I told you I hate it. I don't know who those people are. They talk about,
but if you don't have knowledge of them people and you can't rattle them off, to sound cool or to feel like you belong in that space or to reify or affirm your belonging as a Black person, it's like if you come up in there talking about, you know, Cheryl Dunye and Watermelon Woman and shit like that, maybe nowadays they'll be fucking with her, Oscar Michelle. But back in the 2000s when he would have went to school, or the 90s at USC with Ludwig. Oh, yeah, I love Stanley Kubrick, and I love The Shining. You know, I love the art. Guillermo del Toro. Like, they just, you know how that people do when they get around whites, they feel like they gotta, like, I know white culture. You have to feel like you proficient and facile in whiteness.
Yeah.
In white culture. Like, oh, he speaks Harlem. He knows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit like
That's
that.
how
Like,
you get accepted.
You are, Ryan Coogler is also impacted by the system.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the stature and level that he's risen to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you went to a PWI. USC is a PWI. I went to a PWI in LA. Yeah. So a large one. So I understand the stakes of it. We done all kind of did it when you were around whites. You know what I'm saying? Try to make it seem like you can speak their language so that you can let them know that I can fuck with you and you're not better than me. So I get that, but what does that do to our ability? Like Toni Morrison saying, it's like, I don't have to input white characters. I don't have to input whiteness into things that I do.
Yeah.
I don't have to. She's like, the mere suggestion alone in and of itself is racist that I do.
Yeah.
That I need to include them in anything that I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How come Ryan Coogler, he said a lot of his source material was Leroy Jones, i.e. Amiri Baraka's Blues People, is an excellent book. What would it have been for him to read somebody like Farrah Griffin, a black femme ethnomusicologist who does a lot of work around the blues, has a great book called If You Can't Be Free, Be a Mystery about Billie Holiday. Like, who also a major figure in the blues who was extremely, I mean, queer. Like, what are y'all saying? Do y'all not, is there a dearth of understanding? There's a gap between what people know about the blues? Do some black people don't know their own culture?
The gap is that they feel, again, people think that queer and trans people came about in the 80s and 90s. They do not know that queer and trans people have existed since the beginning of time. They think that it's just something we say. They think because Mississippi is in the South that it was inherently homophobic, and it's homophobic now. So how could the people, black people, have been out? They couldn't even exist as black people, let alone how could they have been black queer people? We can barely exist now. Hello. Fucking whole licenses being removed in Kansas for trans people in one fall swoop. Right now, ICE can literally go and profile trans people. Who do you think that's going to impact the most? Black people who subvert the gender binary.
This was before the civil rights. The 1930s was before the Civil Acts right and the Voting Acts right passed in 1964 and 1965.
The cis hetero supremacy in our community has to stop. It has to stop. And I blame...
It'll hold us back.
I blame the slave movies in a lot of ways. I blame our education in schools because the fact that we did not actually know about queer people existing during and before chattel slavery, but also in the process of chattel slavery, post-Reconstruction. The fact that we don't know Dorsey Swan, like the literal creation of drag. The fact that we don't know Mary Jones, right? Why don't we know these folks' names?
Did drag. That's who invented drag.
That's it.
It worked. So that's
it. It's like I feel like I'm witnessing a mass submission. A mass resignation. Like, I give up.
Hakeem Jeffries.
He said what?
He said it's their government now. This is an elected official whose job is to do government on your behalf.
He said it's their government now?
There they go. They won.
He literally said...
I promise the guy, I think it was Hakeem Jeffries that said it's their government
He said
now.
yesterday, he said, I look forward to the debate of whether or not we should have war in Iran. We already got war in Iran, nigga. What are you saying? What are you talking about? He's doing it without any congressional support. Like, why are we just giving up?
Because he said that's their government. You don't need congressional support.
But the demand for everybody to fall in line is so... That's not connected to wealth.
What do you need for a military? What do we talk about? What do you need in order to have a military?
Removal of bodily autonomy.
But you need bodies.
Bodies, yeah.
You need people.
Yeah.
You need soldiers. You need people to enforce the illegitimacy of the law.
Yep.
Right? People are very shocked. Some people are shocked at what happened in Iran because they simply haven't looked. They don't care.
Yeah.
The erasure of Native Americans and what they've gone through has contributed to people being the shock value of Iran. Because literally the United States always does that. They were in the middle of peace talks and peace agreements. This is Israel and the United States' MO. In the middle of talks, peace agreements, talking out, trying to negotiate. Right in the middle of negotiations, you start bombing and you start killing people. Literally, right in the middle of negotiations.
Literally.
So what do y'all think that was happening in the 1400s, the 1500s, the 1600s, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries with these treaties? It's the same thing. A treaty is a negotiation. Broken, abrogated, people killed, all at the same time. This country is built on a lie, and it's run by liars.
Mm-hmm.
So to tell the truth, you will pay a price here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You
that
will
say
pay
that
a
again.
price.
Say
This
that
country
again.
is built
Say
on
that
a lie.
again. Mm-hmm.
This country is built on a lie, and it's run by liars. So anybody telling the truth, you will pay a price.
Mm-hmm.
You will pay a price. I was thinking of just all the people. I was even thinking about in Brazil, the Black queer activist, Black bisexual activist, Marty Franco, how she was assassinated because of her political activity.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So are we falling in line to these systems because we're afraid? I think I've pointed to that
99.9% of all the people commenting on Hanifa page, from the people, the Pete Hesgeths, to the incels, to the motherfuckers following these streamers online, to the celebrities sitting in them seats at the Oscars on down, 99.9% are controlled by fear. That fear is a main tactic of the Trump administration, of any white supremacist entity or institution.
But what are you afraid of?
Being killed.
Is it being killed, or is it not having wealth? Is it not having
wealth and resources that will eventually lead to your premature death anyway? Being killed,
so you
dying.
think if you fall in line, if you're obedient to the state,
nothing will happen to me. That's why. But I always say I don't hold no space for Booker T. But I was never a slave. Booker T was born a slave.
Yeah, he said that.
He was born enslaved. So for somebody like that, I can't just without nuance add my millennial non-nuance sort of rendering of it. It was like, you don't want to be harmed. I never would know in my life what it feel like to have been enslaved against my will as a child, born as a slave, and to then be freed, quote unquote. I would really love for the people who enslaved me to not want to do it again. So what do you guys need me to do?
Yeah.
You need me to join the military? I do it.
And all of you other motherfuckers need to fall in line.
And stop making it look bad for the rest of us. Stop all that gay shit.
Yeah, you see, he made it. I want to be like Ryan Coogler. I want to be up on that stage. So shut up. Shut up and make sure he don't get taken down. That's what they think. They think our critique is going to take Ryan Coogler down.
Or that is meant to take down. They think critique is not... People who are not revolutionary or radical or anything, even liberal. It's like critique is not something that they understand. It's like saying...
This is a perfect segue into this critique because we need to finish. Critique and accountability. It's going to take you down. Because we live in a country based on lies, we also live in a country based in zero accountability. No one has been trained or educated around how to hold people accountable at all. At all. We think that we're doing it online. We think that we're doing some level of that, but a lot of times it is just throwing stones and trying to hide your own. Like, it's not actually... doing it with people you're even in community with, right? It really is
offline.
It's really offline too. It really is to make yourself look better, right? So with the situation of Cesar Chavez being called out, I'm grateful that Dolores Huerta came out and shared her story, and I hate that she had to hold this so long. But at the heart of this, Dolores Huerta shared that she didn't want to come forward because the movement was so important to her. She didn't want anything to stop it.
She knew what would happen.
And she held that for so long. And this, just a simple critique of something where literally Ryan Coogler has already won an award. The award season is done. So
Checks was wrote.
So based on y'all argument, wouldn't it make sense to have the critiques now? If you think that critique is going to stop somebody from being able to accomplish things, which it's not, right? Fodder on the internet is not necessarily going to stop somebody. Well, critique on the internet, right? Even accountability in many ways.
We're not talking about mob mentality fucking trying to bring...
attack. But y'all think that, but wouldn't it make sense that it's happening now? Right? Like the fact that we live in a world where folks are holding the sexual violence that they experienced. They're holding it
60-something
so it doesn't impact someone else's life or their own because they know it will. They know people won't believe them. She said that. She was like, people won't believe me.
They wouldn't have believed me then.
Sexual violence is built on a power structure.
Yes.
It is literally inherent to the power structure. It's all rooted in power. It's rooted in power relations. It's putting folks on a pedestal where you can't hold them to account, where you don't want to critique, where you're worried that you could lose your job, Monica Lewinsky, where you're worried that you're going to impact a movement. This happens so many times in movement spaces. You woke my game up to the experiences of the women of the Black Panther Party. That is something that people like to push under the rug. No, we should absolutely be talking about that. The women of the Black Panther Party is what had it move.
Yes.
Is what had it,
created a lot of those initiatives.
Movement be the space. The reason why we have free breakfast in this country is because of the Black Panther Party and who was serving said breakfast.
Yeah.
Right? Who was making sure people had free groceries? Right? Like who
was coming up with a lot of those programs?
Come on now.
I also think it's this pedestalizing, we're going back full circle, of men and patriarchy. It's going back to that. Cesar Chavez was eating high off the hog, fighting against Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huertas are founders of the United Farm Workers Movement, right? That advocated for laborers and farmers who were immigrants, many of them from Mexico, who were being taken advantage of, and by white unions and white farm owners and manufacturers. And so the work that they were doing, they became pretty iconic for, but Cesar Chavez most immediately. You have certain things in the Bay Area and California named after Dolores Huertas, but not as much shit named after Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
We was up in school at elementary talking about Cise Puede.
Yeah.
So I believe that when you get pedestalized as this iconoclastic figure, again, as Frantz Fanon said, the colonized will become the colonizer.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think Cesar Chavez believed that the power that he had was enough to absolve him. He's not thinking, I'll ever be held to account.
No.
Like I'm trying to hold the motherfucking white union to account.
That's what
and the white corporations to account.
That's what it does. I don't have to. You can't talk to me. I can do whatever I want. As long as I look like I'm doing something good.
Now my question is, why is this usually hedged on sexual lines? I always wonder that. Where it's like when people get that level of power, and it's like, why is sexual violence such a prevalent abuse of power in our country? It's like that is like the thing motherfuckers with power be doing. Diddy and all them, like, because I got lots of power, I need to go. I could have sex with anybody consensually that I want to.
We can't necessarily get into that.
Yeah,
but I will say our country is organized inside of violence via sexual violence, via reproduction. That is the literally cornerstone of this country. Chattel slavery is organized by sexual violence.
But it's the world this happens.
Prevalent. Yeah, but that's how folks are getting power. You get power via the gender binary, via misogyny and patriarchy. So who you take advantage of via sexual violence. How can I take advantage of your body? How can I have my power needs met so I feel powerful? It has nothing to do with desire or getting off or anything like that. It has everything to do with how can I take what I want whenever I want it. That's why trad wives and all that kind of shit is very popular, because they're groomed to not speak out. They're groomed to not say no. Their bodies are just supposed to be for a man. Hello? This is the groundwork for sexual violence. Be with somebody who is actually going to say, I don't want this. I don't want to be with somebody who's understands autonomy. I don't want to be with somebody who's like, I want to work. I don't want to stay home. I want to be with somebody who is like, well, I guess I have to stay home because I'm a woman.
And you're the big, strong man.
I guess I have to sleep with you because you have testosterone, and that's just how men are. And they just get horny, and I just have to, tell them an excuse to push them off. That is literally coercion. We live in rape culture. And it is upheld by the gender binary. And it all connects to everything that we said. Bye, y'all.